A short while ago, I was a little bit freaked out and felt like I was being stalked, and you might as well had you received the following email. So I was online, minding my own business, browsing websites that I was not a member of, and within a matter of hours I received the following email. Hi, Daniel Shensmith, which at the outset was a bit freaky because I hadn't disclosed my name to any of these websites. Which, obviously, as I read the email, it became apparent that it had been sent by one of the owners of these websites. Hope you are well and keeping safe. My name is Redacted, and I'm one of the directors at an online exclusive office furniture company. Now, here's the kicker. We noticed that Shensmith Law, which is my company, might be looking for some executive desks. We can know this as we've subscribed to software which tells us the companies that visit our website. And it's GDPR compliant. More about that in a moment. But this email didn't just come to me. It went to my wife and to my clerk. So all to our personal email addresses. Now, this by itself was a little bit freaky. But if you've ever wondered how they get hold of this information, I'm going to discuss that in your video and what you might do about it, because I have a partner for this video, which is Incog. More about them a little bit later. So, as I said, this email not just came to me, but came to my wife and to my clerk as well. I replied to say, essentially, how on earth have you got my details? You shouldn't be tracking my details without my permission. And what you're doing is in breach, at least in part, of GDPR. And therefore, I submit a subject access request for all of the information you have on me. And lo and behold, I received no reply. As I said, that was some time ago and beyond the expiration date of the time frame within which they are to comply with the subject access request. They didn't. They failed to comply. So how much thought do you really give to the information that you give out online when you're searching for things, browsing for things, and all of that sort? Well, let's take a look, shall we? This is a random website that I just happened to pull up. So apologies to this company if they feel offended that I'm using you as the example. That's not the intention. The intention is merely to highlight the information that is gathered on you when you click allow or when you browse these websites, and a little bit later, what you can do about it. Now, these are known as cookies. Everyone's heard of the term, but not everybody really, with respect, fully understands what it means. Now, there's more transparency in what these cookies are and what they do because they have to comply with GDPR. Now, there are what we call performance and strictly necessary cookies. Now, these strictly necessary cookies are the bare minimum information that they need to make the website function. They are not, as it confirms here, designed to store any personally identifiable information. Now, that's essential because any information, whether taken by itself or together with anything else that makes you personally identifiable, has to comply with GDPR. There are then performance cookies, which allows them to track the website, the sources of that traffic, and all of that sort of stuff. Then there are functional cookies that makes the website perform a little bit better, which are necessary. And so if you deny those, the website may not function quite as well as it might otherwise. And then we come on to targeting cookies. Now, this is what gets really interesting, because most people have probably not looked at these cookies in any detail. They either accept or deny. Some people just accept them and think, well, whatever, these websites need some information to function and let's just let them have it. But I'm the lawyer, so I do look at these small print and terms and things like that to see what they say. Let me reveal to you the extent of information which may shock and horrify you what these companies collect. We click on cookie details. First of all, there are first-party cookies. Those belong to the website that you're visiting. Then you see this list under here. Let me try and zoom in a little bit more. Then you have this whole list of different companies here. Advangelists.com, technoratimedia.com, ads, etc., etc., etc. So this whole long list of different companies, different websites that are all gathering information on you by way of cookie files. See the long list? And when we look at, let's say, one of this Technorati, we'll take it as example, view cookies, duration. They will hold this information for 5 years. Now, one of the principles of data protection is that information is only stored for as long as is necessary. I can't really think of any excuse for information to be stored for 5 years. But it obviously depends what information they gather. Then taking a look at another one, they store some information for 2 years, and another one stores information for 2 years. But what exactly is each of these cookies storing? Well, if we move now to a little bit more in-depth detail on one of these and look at what data is collected and processed, we get a bit of an insight. IP addresses. Now, an IP address in the UK is not specific to every single household, but it gives a fairly accurate location result as to where you are. So it's not necessarily specific to your device or whatever, but it is fairly specific to where you are. Device characteristics, technical characteristics about the device that you are using that, again, may not be unique to you. So whether you use Windows, Mac, whatever. Now, it gets a little bit more interesting here. Browsing and interaction data. Your online activity, such as websites you visit, apps you are using, the content you search for on the service, or interaction with content or ads, the number of times you've seen specific content and ads and whatever, and user-provided data, I've highlighted for a reason. The information that you may have provided by way of any declaration, via forms, feedback, comments, or creating an account, such as your age, your occupation, and that is oversimplified, I think, because this is them providing examples of the information gathered. But obviously, there is a whole host of information that you provide these companies with regard to yourself. Now, it's no secret that companies have data breaches all the time, and thousands of bits of information about you that you've provided, websites you visited, searches you've put into websites or search engines and things like that, all may be stored on cookies and all may be gathered by each of these companies that you saw on this list here. The list goes on. Back to the information here, device identifiers again, identifying your device, your browsers, and things like that. Users' profiles, certain characteristics, your interests, your purchase intentions, essentially your consumer profile, all may be inferred or modeled at the time based on your online activity. And again, browsing and interaction data, each of these from different providers saying what information they gather when you drill down into any one and each of these. Now, all of that, some people might think is relatively simplistic and nothing to worry about. But when you have a blueprint of your personality, your profile made up by a bad actor, that is when we then get clients coming to us that have had their identity stolen, they've had loans taken out in their name, all of this sort of stuff, and they are left in a position of unraveling this mess, undoing loans, undoing contractual agreements. And that is why I partner on this channel with a company called Incog, which contacts each of these companies, hundreds of companies, and insists that they remove your data from their servers and prevent it from being sold on to additional parties. There's an exclusive discount by joining with the link that I will put in the description below, and you can have the peace of mind that they will go through a process of requesting that your data is removed in accordance with your data protection rights under data protection legislation. And they must do so within a given time frame. They don't always do that within the time frame, but Incog will persist and insist that your information is removed. Now, as I said, I did submit a data subject access request to this company that had emailed me out of the blue to say that they know that I've been shopping for furniture because I've been on their website. I didn't fill any forms. I didn't submit my data. I was just browsing the website. They've obviously then collated my IP address at the time, because this was some time ago, before I used VPN services, which is NordVPN that I use to conceal my unique IP address from my service here. If I was doing that, they wouldn't be able to track where I am and collate the information and find out that it was me, a director of Shansmith Law, that was looking at this furniture. And Incogni will contact all of these companies that hold, store, and market, because believe it or not, these companies sell on your data. They package you up, and you as a person with all your information, your data and everything else, have a price attached that these marketing companies pay for. They will pay for you, your data, so they can then market to you. But if that information gets into the wrong hands, into the hands of bad actors, then they might imitate and pretend to be a marketing company, buy your data, and then attempt to steal your identity. So this video is obviously partnered with Incogni. I would never bring something to you that I don't use myself. I have had the peace of mind of using Incogni myself, and I've been through that process, which is why I partner with Incogni, to assist you and to highlight to you the dangers of all of these companies having your information, your browsing history, what you've searched for, your personal information such as age and all of those sorts of things. So do yourself a favor. It is a exclusive discount in the description below, and you have the peace of mind of having your data removed from their systems. I hope you found that enlightening and useful. Check out Incogni in the description, and I thank you for watching.